Hey guys, Dave here from Wolf in the Wild Survival, episode 8 of Trailer Trash Tuesdays. This location's going to be a little bit loud. I'm right up near a truck compound, and there's transport trucks coming and going all the time. So, unfortunately, it's at least as loud as a truck stop that you would find on a highway. There's trucks coming and going constantly. Now in the last video, I was down a little dead-end street. I'd been there quite a while. I was having trouble with my truck, and I couldn't move the trailer. I had a couple of Karens come down and sort of give me a hard time, and Canadian Tire was messing me around for my vehicle. I had to take my truck to an actual real mechanic, which I should have done in the first place. I pretty much always take my truck to this place called Tommy's Auto, and if it was open and it wasn't a holiday weekend, that's what I would have done. I ended up taking it to Tommy's after the fourth visit, Canadian Tire, and they're running me up and giving me the runaround, and finally I just said, nope, I've had enough of you guys. Just drop the truck, we're done. I wanted my money back for the labor of what they didn't fix. They wouldn't give me my money back. Got a bunch of arseholes basically just laughing at me and grinning and kind of whatever. I just left before I caught an assault charge. I was that pissed off. So Tommy's had my truck for a little while because of how busy they were. But I got it back, and I hadn't been to my trailer in a couple of days, and I was kind of nervous, but there was nothing I could do. I stayed at a friend's for a few days. When I got back, there was a sticker on the door and the side of the trailer from the London bylaw basically saying, move your trailer or we're going to tow it. It's violating whatever city ordinance. Can't be there. So, somebody obviously called the city bylaw. And it was probably the two Karens that came down and, started complaining and carrying on, about me being down there. Even after I told them, look guys, I want to move the trailer, I have a broken vehicle. That's why the trailer's down here. Because otherwise I'd never park it on like a city street kind of thing for very long. Certainly not it was almost 2 weeks, I think. So, taking a pretty big risk there. And something that I've come to understand, most people can't just mind their own business. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not making a mess. I'm certainly not making a mess. I'm not, making a nuisance. I'm not loud. I'm just there. All my garbage gets carted to the garbage bins at the place that I work at. I'm not having really any impact. I'm not really doing much of anything. People can't seem to stand seeing another person get something for nothing. I don't get it. Now, at work, I'm a security guard. And from time to time, I have to move homeless people away from the area that I am paid to protect. Generally, when I do that, it's because they're vandalizing the area. They're disturbing the peace. They're doing something or other that basically has me come up to them and say, it's time to go. If they're not doing anything, if they're not bothering anybody, if they're just looking for a place to sleep for a little while, whatever, I don't bother them. I leave them right alone. If they're cool, I'm cool. And I've been that way pretty much the whole time I've been doing security. This isn't like some new lesson that I've learned. I go around. I'm right downtown London, basically. So I go around at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I start moving people along their way because the storefronts and whatever, the owners and the workers start coming in usually around 6:30 to 7 o'clock, and they need their doorways to be cleared of vagrants and whatever, and most of the vagrants are pretty good about that. Most of them, hey man, it's checkout time, and they're like, checkout time, and I explain to them, and they're generally pretty good. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand why there's a general mentality out there where if you see somebody maybe getting away with something that you would never try, or just getting away with something that just bothers you, or where you just gotta run down there and cause problems and act like a Karen and whatever, like. So, long story short, too late, I know. I got back to my trailer after several days. My vehicle is fixed. Everything is fine. Tommy's Auto is awesome. Canadian Tire can rot in hell. There's city bylaw has basically told me, move it or we're going to tow it. So I moved it to a parking lot. This was right after work. I picked up my truck just before I started work. I didn't have time. So I moved it to a parking lot, a great big parking lot of this business that doesn't, it's like a strip mall and there's like one place still active, so ample parking. And I thought maybe I'd give it a try there for a couple of days, but then my old next door neighbor called, wanting sort of a little bit of a favor that next day. So I thought, well, instead of driving across town like several times, I'll just hook up my trailer. I'll take it back over to the first location where I had the trailer. The security, I mean, they obviously, like, when are you moving your trailer? When are you moving your trailer? But they didn't seem that concerned about it. They didn't seem to really care. It was just sort of a, hey man, like, we're putting this on our reports all the time, and, we're just wondering. So I moved it back to that location. And I talked to my neighbor, made our plans, and then I went to work. I went back to the trailer in the morning, I slept a little bit, I got up, I helped my old neighbor, and I went back to the trailer, went back to sleep, and I was going to move it back across town, and then, my neighbor wanted another favor that was pretty much going to take up the entire Saturday. Well, okay, sure, why not? I'll just keep my trailer here, I'll be nice and close. Well, no, I'm not. Security came down, kicked me out of there. Can't really blame them. I mean, they were pretty patient with me the first time. I don't think they were willing to suffer through me being there. The second time. And like I say, I wasn't really hurting anybody. I wasn't really, I'm not making a mess. I try to have as little impact as possible. I wasn't loud. I don't even have a stereo system in this trailer. So there's no possible way that I could be like blasting loud music and creating a disturbance or whatever. But nevertheless, I was told that I had to leave, and this is somewhat late at night. So, you got to do what you got to do. I moved the trailer. I went to what I thought was a building that was basically abandoned, shut down, not in use, which was only partially true. Whatever store, whatever thing it used to be, that shut down ages ago. A lumber yard bought that place, and they used it for storage. Overflow, the whole back area is full of lumber. Apparently there's a lot of fertilizer there, which can be explosive, so definitely not a good idea. Plus, their cameras, they had cameras, which I didn't even notice. Their cameras had motion sensors. So whenever I was like coming and going, whenever I was moving around, I was setting off their alarm until somebody, finally came and told me, hey man, you gotta go. They told me, what was going on, and I, expressed my apologies. I even offered to give them my number and told them, if you guys have like some issues with thieves and whatnot over the weekends, because apparently they do. I said, tell your boss, if he wants, he can give me a call, and I will suit up in my gear, and I will come and do the removal way faster than the police would, as a sort of a compensation for all of the trouble that I caused them for the couple of days I was there. They didn't seem that interested. They, just wanted me gone. So I'm where I am now. I moved to where I am now. So, it's loud, definitely. There's no shade. So, it tends to get a little hot in the trailer through the day. But, I spent my first night here last night. I brought it here yesterday. Somewhat mid-morning, probably. So far, no one's talked to me. No one's, tried to roust me out of here or whatever. And I spent a good deal of time last night looking for my next location. I don't know. I'm kind of starting to run out of easily found locations on Google Maps. So I'm not too sure. If someone were to come and kick me out of here right now, I wouldn't have a clue where I was going. I really don't know what I'm going to do. So I have to work tonight. So when I get to work and I have some free time tonight, I got to get back onto Google Maps and I got to start looking around. Right now my only option is that big parking lot just down the way from where I am now, where I went and I slept for the day and then moved the trailer again. Nobody talked to me, nobody said nothing to me, but it was only there for maybe 12 hours, maybe 10 hours, and then it was gone. And it was way over to the side. I guess I could go and at least put it there until I could find something a little bit more ideal. Yeah, other than that, like, I really got to find a new location, and that's something that I have to sort of make sure that I keep on. Whenever somebody comes to tell me that I have to move my trailer, I like to be able to, hey, no problem, I'm sorry to bother you, let me hook up and I'll get it out of here, and I take a few minutes to make the trailer ready to move, and I go. I don't give them a hard time, I don't act, like a spoiled brat, none of that kind of, I don't want to cause anybody grief. I'm just trying to sort of do my little experiment and, take the opportunity to sort of fix up this trailer, sort of make everything good, for when I am going to be using it for trips and whatever, probably next summer. I always have to have my next location in mind. I don't have that right now. I just got here yesterday. And any thought of, like my first location, well, security was really cool, and they didn't give me too much of a hassle, so I can fall back on that for a day or two if I have to. That's pretty much gone. There's nope. I actually talked to two security guards there. One of them was really nice and really cool, and she remembered me, and I told her what was going on, and that I'd be gone by Sunday, and she's like, oh, okay, so you're basically just here, like for 2 more nights, and I told her why. And everything was good. The next security guard come on, and, he's like large and in charge, Mr. Simulated Bacon Bit, and, basically booted me out of there, so, whatever. So, the idea of me traveling across the country and maybe spending 8, 10, 12 hours in a location and then moving on, that's doable. That's definitely doable. I've never really been kicked out of a location on the same day that I got there. It's always been at least 2 days. So if I'm driving across the country like I want to do, hopefully next summer, and I stop and I sleep, and maybe I, go somewhere and I go fishing, wild collect some food, any of that kind of stuff. Based on my experiences, I have at least 2 days to get everything done. Actually, wait a minute. There is one, actually. I did pull into a place, and they were on me pretty quick. It's private property, you need to get out of here. And, I told them, like, hey, I realize, like, I'm not looking to set up here and, move in. It's the connector wire from the truck to the trailer, the wire coming out of the front of my trailer that connects to the back of my truck for the e-brakes and the lights and all that. That's when I was having trouble with that. That's when that blew apart. And I didn't realize that the cord was too short. So when I connected it up, there was just enough room, but when I made it like a right-hand turn, it just pulled the plug to pieces. And so I pulled in there to fix that, and they were on me pretty quick. As soon as I told them, I just need 20 or 30 minutes to fix this plug, that's, they were okay with that. But, so that actually, somebody did boot me out of the place basically the same day, but it was slightly different circumstance. I don't think that I normally would have considered trying to set up in there. Very busy area. It was very obviously like it was in use sort of thing, like I wasn't I wouldn't have been comfortable, leaving my trailer there overnight, to go to work or whatever kind of thing, just based on like how busy it is, and they would try to have it towed away as, kind of whatever. So that is actually, you can't just roll in anywhere and stay for 2 days. So if you're somewhat smart about choosing your locations, then yeah, you could get away with it. For a day or two. Shopping malls like Walmart and truck stops, you get away with overnight. You're not going to get much more than an overnight before somebody comes along to move you on your way. I've talked to a few people I've seen in camper vans and very, very small little I think they're called bowler trailers and whatever, and yeah, they're generally they're good for 18 to 24 hours before somebody comes along to move them on their way. I'm trying to avoid most of those. I'm trying to set up in sort of off to the side locations, because when I do this trip, I want to be able to maybe do a little hunting, a little bit of fishing, wild collect some food. I'm not doing that in a Walmart parking lot. Like, I can go into the Walmart and spend money and buy food, but that's kind of what I'm trying to do, to minimize as much as possible. When I go across the country, I want to try to do it as cheaply as I possibly can. So if I get a chance to get a raccoon or some squirrel sort of off to the side, or I don't know, whatever I get a license for, small games license and maybe possibly waterfowl, I want to have the opportunity to do that, and I'm not doing that in a Walmart parking lot. I'm doing that in areas kind of like where I am now. I'm just on the outskirts of the city of London. There's a strip mall over here, but where I am over here, it's all boarded up. It's the parking lot. There's like plants growing through it. It's all kind of dilapidated. It's not in use, not at all. But over like here, there's like a great big field, sort of farmer's field kind of idea, or just a field, I'm not even sure. There's the trucking compound behind me, but sort of down over the other way a little ways, there's a little bit of woods. There's a little river going by. There might be some trout in there. This is the kind of location that I'm going to be able to find some food and sort of add to my reserves as I'm going across the country, and I don't have to spend money on feeding myself. I can spend money on gas and whatever I need, and it prolongs my ability to explore around and adventure. And that's really what I want. If I can save money on food, then I can be out and about more and explore more. I'm not going to have to worry as much about gas. Also, switching gears, the wild bergamot that I put, around my trailer or whatever, it did help with mosquitoes and, some of the other insects. Didn't really help so much with ants. It might have lessened the ants coming in, but it did not really stop them. Definitely not. And even after moving a couple of locations, I'm still finding ants in my trailer. So I guess I'm going to have to get some ant traps, which I honestly considered, one of the things that I need to stock up on, insect control, kind of whatever. Ant traps was one of my... I kind of opted out of doing that. I honestly couldn't even tell you why, other than just, me trying to spend my money where I thought it would be better spent, rather than try to, go broad spectrum and maybe waste a bunch of money on a bunch of stuff that I wouldn't use. So I have to get some ant traps and clear the ants out of the trailer. I mean, it's not a lot. It's not like an infestation. I'm finding them here and there, and I gotta get something done about that. Other than that, my whole paycheck pretty much went on food and repair. I haven't improved any part of the trailer at all. And this coming paycheck, actually, because of how things went, I owe a couple of $100 to a friend. I don't really know how much improvement I'm going to be able to do, but I mean, really all I need to do is I just need to get like a deep cycle battery, a solar panel, a charge controller, and I'm good. So all in all, there's not much left to do on this trailer. I tried the oven. The oven works. The pilot light on the oven will light. The pilot light on the stove, the 4 pilot lights, I can't get them to light, so I just keep pilot light off. And, you know, I light the stove with like a little lighter, like a barbecue lighter. And, you know, that does me just fine. I assume I probably need to clean the pilot light openings, jets, I don't know, I don't even know what they're called. Probably needs cleaning. All in all, it doesn't really matter to me. It really does. I mean, you know, when I get around to, you know, making something in the oven, we'll see if it's a problem. You know, the pilot lights being on and kind of whatever. But I haven't actually used the oven. I was just sort of playing around, and I lit the pilot light and I turned the oven on. The oven works like a charm. So I've got an idea for one of my kids, something I want to make. I'll make it for all my kids, but I know one of my kids is going to love this. So I don't want to share it though, because they do check out my channel from time to time, and I want it to be a surprise. I don't want them to know what I'm doing. But at some point, I will probably start doing a little bit of cooking and a little bit of whatever, you know, trailer life sort of thing, and I will probably share those videos, video that and share them. That's probably about it. And I should probably reshoot this whole darn video because of me rambling on. But I really don't have the time. I gotta get ready and get to work soon. Here I am rambling again. I'm sorry, guys. I know that I talk too much, and I try to curb that down. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just don't. I don't script anything. This is just me talking to you guys like a regular conversation. Is just one way, because you guys can't talk back to me until I read your comments, and then it's in the next video. The lesson learned for this week: when you get to a new location, as soon as you can, find your next location. If you're doing the whole van life, trailer life, you know, kind of whatever, and you're doing it in such a way like I'm doing, where you're not in a campground, you're not, you know, paying to be somewhere, you technically have no right to be there, you're squatting, basically. This is what I'm doing. If you're squatting, always find your next location as soon as you possibly can, because you might get a day or two, you might get a week or two, you might get a few hours. You should definitely have a plan, especially when you're toting around a trailer. You know, like in a van, it's a little bit differently. I'm toting around a 21-foot camper trailer. And I mean, it kind of stands out. I'm thinking about painting it so it doesn't stand out so much, but it kind of stands out. So, yeah, that is definitely something that that I'm going to stick to, is keeping my next location a priority. Also, insect control, obviously, it's never going to be wasted money. It really isn't. It's not something that you generally want to deal with. So, yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I know it's kind of a long, rambling one again. And I wish I had more exciting stuff, more interesting stuff. But it has been one heck of a week. And I'm hoping that things start to settle down for a little bit. I really could use a rest. We'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, stay wild.